Hey guys, welcome back to another live broadcast. Today's topic is all going to be about the new glitter flake colors that we launched, which is Nightfall and Peacock Teal. So if you guys order glitter flake a lot, it's something that you probably already saw on the website, but one of those colors is limited edition. So Nightfall is actually the limited edition color. So you can see that here. It is definitely a deeper color, almost like a black, but there are a lot of different colors in the sparkles that are in there. All right, so this one again is the Nightfall. And then the other one that we offer is the Peacock Teal. So this one isn't a limited edition color, so this one is really, really pretty, but this will definitely be added to the product line. It'll stay on there, so you don't have to worry about only having access to this for a little bit of time. So I actually want to show you these without the carrier so you can really see the sparkle in it. So this is the Nightfall. I'm going to hold that up nice and close for you. So once again, it is really deep. But I don't want people to confuse it with the rainbow black that we offer, because it's definitely has a lot of blue and green throughout it, and it's really, really pretty. I just haven't seen a glitter product like this yet, so I'm really excited for this one. And then the Peacock Teal is really pretty too. It has more blue to it, but there's definitely some like greens and golds in there that just really make it a really pretty glitter heat transfer vinyl to work with. So those are the two colors that are new to our glitter flake line. So if you guys are interested in trying those out, you can just head over to Stahls.com under the CAD-CUT Direct section, choose glitter flake, and you'll see there's two limited edition colors that you can get access to now. And the Nightfall, or not the Nightfall, the Peacock Teal one says new under the standard colors. So check those out. Really, really pretty products. So I'm going to show you a couple projects that you can do with those and how you can start integrating those into your design. So I see some comments coming in. Denise says pretty color. Yeah, so really, really great. It's even prettier when you see it in person, because when you look at it, it just helps you really draw inspiration for different things that you can create with it, both colors. So I wanted to show you my scrap pieces so you could see it without the carrier. Sometimes I feel like it's hard to really see with the glare, with the clear carrier here, what the product truly looks like. So we're going to heat apply that. What I already have created is a pre-cut out design. So this is three colors. I'm pairing the two new ones. All right, so this is Nightfall and Peacock Teal. And then I'm pairing that with the Bahama Blue that we offer. All right, so I think these three colors go really, really pretty together. So I'm going to show you that now so that you can see what that looks like. And my heat press timed out on me, so we actually have to wait for that to heat up. So while we're waiting for that to heat up, what we're going to do is cut out the other products for the other project that we're going to do. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And so we're going to be creating design. This is available on cadworkslive.com. So this is available there for free. So keep that in mind. We're continuing to add designs to our CADWorks templates. I'm going to drag that over here on the screen so that you can see that. And if you just go to cadworkslive.com and select templates, you'll be able to see all of the templates you have available to you to start cutting out in heat transfer vinyl. If you're doing any other print methods, such as sublimation or digital printing, we have some full color stuff in there that has patterns in it, and a lot of different stuff. But this is exactly where I sourced the design that we're going to cut. It's in here somewhere. I think I'm looking over it. Here it is. All right, so what I'm doing with this particular design, and keep in mind whenever you're looking at these different designs, think about the different stuff that you can do with them too. So what I have created in here is a star and stripe pattern that you can cut out of heat transfer vinyl. But what I did for this particular design was remove that. And now I'm going to fill in the glasses with sublimation. So I have a tie-dye sheet, right? So this is our CAD-CUT pattern. So I'm going to share my screen with you there real quick so that you can see this big. So all of the patterns that we offer are now available in sublimation transfer sheets. So you don't have to just use them in heat transfer vinyl or sign vinyl. You can now use them for sublimation. So what I'm doing is pairing the sublimation. We're actually going to cut that out on the vinyl cutter using the paper setting. And then I'm going to pair it with the Nightfall so that the sublimation doesn't show up on the glitter whenever it's being transferred or layered over top. So as this is heating up, I want to make sure my temperature is set right. So yeah, we're at 380 and we're going to apply it 40 degrees. So it's a lovely feature about the press that it has an auto off. So I turned it on really early this morning and it timed off on me. So that's why it's not heated up yet. But while we're waiting for that to heat it up, what's nice about the 9x12 press is it doesn't take long to heat up at all. Within the next like 10 minutes or so, it'll be to temperature. So it won't take too long. All right, so back to Cricut. This is the design. All right, so again, once more, this was sourced from CADWorks Live. It's free on there. So go on there. I encourage you to do that so that you can access designs, especially if you're new to heat transfer vinyl and you're not really sure what to make with it. There's just a lot of inspiration that you can pull from there. And a lot of the templates in there are customizable and you can really make them your own. So keep that in mind too. All right, so I have the Nightfall Glitter Flake loaded onto my cutting mat and I have my Iron On Plus setting. So all I have to do is hit continue on my screen and it's going to connect to my Cricut. And it's just going to make sure that I have my mirror on. So there's always a reminder anytime you're working with heat transfer vinyl, just make sure that you have your mirror on. And then I always turn on the fast mode so that it will cut it quicker than the standard. Because these cutters can kind of run a little slow. All right, so I'm just hitting the go button. And what I'm doing right now is just holding my heat transfer vinyl down in place because of how I had it stored. It was in a roll like this, okay? So now as I'm cutting it off and using pieces from it, it's starting to curl up on the cutting mat because my cutting mat is losing like a little bit of tackiness to hold it down in place. You can solve this issue by using our thermo tape to just kind of keep it in place on the edges. Or, you know, just kind of keep pressing down on it as it's cutting. So don't be afraid of the cutter. As long as you are aware of where the blade is at currently, just kind of keep like holding the heat transfer vinyl down. But if it's not something you want to babysit, you can just put tape on the edges and cut from there. All right, so I do see some comments coming in. If you guys are joining us from Facebook, I always love to see where you guys are joining in. So definitely be sure to comment. If you guys are loving the new glitter flake colors, give us a thumbs up or a little heart on the screen so we know that you guys like the new colors. And if you're joining on YouTube, please like this broadcast and subscribe to our channel. We love having you guys and you will be fed content weekly if you subscribe. Hi, Patrice. Good to see you. I always see a lot of repeating names, like a lot of familiar names every time we're live. So it's really nice to see that you guys have just been like staying on with us and enjoying the content. Makes it feel like we're doing something right over here. So Laura says, love all the new colors. Scott says he's from Indianapolis. So we were actually just supposed to be in Indianapolis last week for the NBM show before it got canceled. So if you guys were supposed to attend the NBM show in Indy last week, good news, we are doing a live event virtually with NBM next week. So visit their website. We're going to have a ton of live classes on there. We're going to have a virtual trade show booth. We're doing trade show events, so definitely be sure to visit that because the virtual trade shows are really, really cool. We have like a whole like virtual booth set up, and all of our educational events are in there. So it's really neat. Ian's joining us from the UK. And TJ from Southern California. All right, awesome guys. Thanks for joining. All right, so this is almost cut out, and then you guys can see how easy it is to weed. So Glitter Flake is typically one of those harder heat transfer vinyls to work with when it comes to weeding because it likes to tear a little bit. But these I found a little bit easier to weed. I don't know if it's because we manufacture them just a little bit differently, but the adhesive doesn't seem as tacky. Or maybe it could be because I've just had these sitting here to test for a couple months. But it just doesn't seem as hard to weed away, and I don't know why that is. So I've heard customers say that they think some colors are easier to weed than others. So it could be that too. I don't know. All right, so our design is all cut out in Nightfall. And before I start weeding this, I'm just going to get my sublimation transfer sheet set up on here so that we can utilize that in our application. So this can actually be cut, and anytime that you are working with the sublimation paper, especially with a craft cutter, it's really easy to do. And you just turn on the paper setting. So I'm going to turn my dial back to paper, making sure I'm not on paper plus. Okay. And we'll just load that in, and you can see that it's just holding right on there. So I don't need to worry about a backing or anything. So it works great, like I said, with craft cutters because of the cutting mats. If you're working with a Roland or a Graphtec that don't come with these cutting mats, you can still use these on those cutters by just adjusting the pinch rollers down to a 12-inch width. So keep that in mind if this is something that you're thinking about doing. You can easily access these cutting mats and still use those on those cutters. So they're not just subjected to these 12-inch cutters. All right, and I want to make sure I don't have my mirror turned on for this one. And now, actually, yes, mirror needs to be turned on. 1 second. Okay. And now I'm just going to hit the go button, and it'll cut that out. So while that's cutting, we can go ahead and weed this design out. I'm going to trim away the excess. It always sounds so weird when it's cutting. I'm used to hearing it cut heat transfer vinyl, but when it cuts paper, it sounds totally different. All right, so I'm going to weed out the insides here. So one thing I like about Glitter Flake, other than the obvious that gives you the bling effect, but you're able to get some intricacy that most people think you can't really get with glitter because it's a thicker product. But I've been able to get like really intricate designs done with this product by just making sure I'm using the right force. If I need to use an overcut feature on like a Roland or GS24, I'll use that. But I've seen where people are doing like small little circles with Glitter Flake to mimic the look of rhinestones. So they do little rhinestone templates out of Glitter Flake because it can be more cost effective, and it just weeds away so nicely. So I would say to anyone that hasn't worked with Glitter Flake, don't be afraid to test it out because it really is such a cool product, and it can achieve a lot more than most people think. What are some of the most common markets that you guys make t-shirts for with Glitter Flake? I'm curious to know. right, and I just need to make sure, okay, there is another spot up here. So sometimes whenever I'm weeding my designs, I forget what it's supposed to look like. So I'll just leave it up on my screen and make sure that I am cutting or weeding away all the excess that is supposed to be weeded away. All right, so that's complete. There aren't any cavities down here that needed weeded out. So overall, pretty easy to weed. Didn't take too long. And for the sublimation paper, all we have to do is just pop out our little glasses there. Something didn't happen right over here where it didn't cut. Not sure what happened, but I will trim that a little bit with my scissors. So I'm gonna hold this up close. You can see that there wasn't a clean cut right there. Let me hide my screen. All right, so right there. So I'm just gonna trim that. I don't know if it's necessary because I did a little bit of an, like I did it like a thicker contour on this so that it overlaps the glitter just to make sure I don't accidentally miss any spaces. But what we're gonna do is just drop this right in there and then it's going to make the sunglasses tie-dye. It's cool, you know? It's fun crafting with this stuff and all the different things that you can come up with. All right, so let's see what temperature our heat press is at. That's going to determine what we can actually heat apply. So right now it's not at temperature for the sublimation print yet. So what we're going to do is do the 3-color glitter flake with, that's pairing the Bahama Blue with the 2 new colors. And we're going to apply that to a medium girls tank from Cavio. So you guys have probably seen me use this a lot. I think the fringe is really cute for girls' clothing. It's something that I see a lot in retail, like at Justice and things like that. So I think it makes sense for the girls' market a lot, and ladies and women's. All right. So before we place our transfer, we always want to make sure we're preheating. That's going to get out any potential wrinkles that could cause adhesive application issues, pressure issues, anything like that. All right, so the largest part of my design looks like it's going to be the Nightfall. So I'm going to start with that. This design that we're applying, this one was sourced from Love SVG. All right, so I always like to call out whenever I use other sources for artwork. Especially if they're free and you guys can benefit from utilizing those websites as well. So Love SVG, free SVG files that you can create with just about anything, mainly used for heat transfer vinyl, but if you're crafting other things like fabrics and stuff like that, then it's a great website for that too. And I'm just realigning this because I was too low on my tank top, so I want to make sure I'm bumping that up a little bit. There we go. So that's one challenge I'll say about the 9x12 press is sometimes it can be hard to line stuff up. All right, so Glitter Flake is another one of those products that just takes a couple seconds for it to tack. The next color I'm going to drop in is the Bahama Blue. Just trying to make sure that I am getting lined up accurately. Takes a minute. It's hard to see a little bit through all the glitter like flakes that are left over from the carrier. Makes it almost frosted looking. So I'm not loving where the letters are lining up, so I'm going to readjust here. Sometimes it helps too to even trim these up and replace them. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to trim up the text and place these separately so that my alignment isn't crazy. All right, so I have my text placed. Now we'll apply the second leaf. That is so much better. Okay. All right, again, we'll just tack that. And with the last color, that's when we will apply for the full application. All right, so anytime you're tacking with multiple colors, just make sure the last application gets the full kit so that you are making sure everything is applied at the recommended time and temp. So this would just be a 10-second application. Remove my carrier for me. And now our design's complete. All right, so again, using the new Glitter Flake colors, Nightfall and Peacock Teal, and then we paired the Bahama Blue in there too. These colors really pair nicely together. So keep these colors in mind whenever you're thinking of the graphic tees that you want to make for the summer, because these are really, really pretty products, and I'm sure your customers will love to see something new and unique that they haven't seen before on their shirts. All right, now let's do our sublimation one. So once again, whenever you're thinking about your garments for sublimation, I always like to make sure I'm pointing this out. Just make sure that you are getting polyester garments that are recommended for sublimation, because not all polyesters are made the same. And I've seen instances where customers have maybe used the 100% polyester Sport Tech t-shirts, like the ST350, I think is the item number. And it starts to turn yellow a little bit because it's burning. So not all polyesters are made the same. That's why some polyesters scorch at 280 degrees and some don't, all right? So keep that in mind. It goes the same way for sublimation. So make sure you're sourcing blanks made specifically for this. It applies at such a high temperature for such a long period of time so that it gets that bright color and vibrancy that sublimation offers on apparel. So just make sure that you are researching the products that you're using. So I source t-shirts from a division of LAT Apparel. It's called Sublivy or something like that. But it's sourced through S&S Activewear. So keep that in mind that they do offer sublimation apparel. And then feel free to, if anybody is using other brands for sublimation, to go ahead and call that out, because I just work with Sublivy because I know it works. I haven't really tested any other blank suppliers for sublimation for as far as apparel goes. All right, so the first application I'm going to do is the Glitter Flake, and I'm just going to tack this for a few seconds because we are at a really high temperature, and I know it's going to get its full application whenever we do the sublimation on there. Now I am working with a V-neck, so I'm trying not to go too low on the shirt so that it doesn't look like a belly print. Now, even though glitter can apply as low as 300 degrees, it can still apply as high as 385. It's not going to damage it. I don't recommend it for all applications, but for this particular one, because the sublimation is the smaller part of the design, that's why we are applying the Glitter Flake first. I just want to make sure I'm not exceeding the Glitter Flake here so it's not going outside of the design. Okay. Now we can lock that down. So anytime I work with sublimation, I'm making sure that I am heat applying at 385 degrees for 40 to 45 seconds. Some recommend 390, but I would say 380 to 390 ballpark is going to get you a really nice, vibrant application. Now, that's what we use for apparel. That can vary for other accessories or hard goods or what have you, whatever you're using sublimation for. There are some cool mug presses in our industry that let you apply sublimation to mugs, which is really cool. Yep, this is awesome. So this turned out really, really cool, especially with the Nightfall, because I feel like it has a lot of like rainbow sparkle effect in it that really pairs well with the tie-dye sublimation there. So once again, if you are looking to do similar stuff with sublimation, but you don't have a sublimation printer yet, we offer our patterns in sublimatable sheets. So that's what I cut out on the Cricut. From this, I just trimmed this up and cut out the insert here for the glasses. So it did turn out really, really cool. And what's nice about sublimation is it lasts. Okay, so I could have done this with transfer paper if I wanted to, but it's not gonna last as long as sublimation. Transfer paper typically lasts about, and it varies on the brand, but anywhere between 10 to 12 or 12 to 14, depending on the transfer paper that you're working with. So sublimation, really, really cool. Adheres directly to the fibers of the garment. So it's nothing is like sitting on top. The ink is actually in the shirt at that point. So it feels like nothing's there, just the t-shirt. So that's what I really love about sublimation. And if you can get started with it in such an easy way, you should definitely do it. Show your customers what you can achieve with it. This is pretty simple stuff here. All you have to do is order the sheets. They come in a pack of 3 and they're like, forget the sizes. Here, let me grab one that's fully printed so you guys can see the size of it. So same sheet, ordered the same way, just a different pattern. Okay, but that is a lot of sublimation there to work with, and you can cut out a variety of different designs or sublimate a variety of accessories, because we've done koozies in the past. If you haven't visited that, that's on our Stahls TV YouTube channel, so you can check out how those applications were done. But 3 of these for one order of your sublimation pattern. Okay, you get 3 sheets. Right, so you can fit a lot of different stuff using that. And Denise says, is that a polyester shirt? Yeah, so that's the other thing I love about Subli is that it is polyester and it's perfect for sublimation, but it doesn't feel like 100% polyester. It feels to me like a cotton poly blend using like a ring spun cotton. Because polyester, when I think polyester, I always think like performance wear and athletic and those like really lightweight, like stretchy shirts, like the ST350 I was talking to you guys about from Sport Tech, sourced through Sanmar. This is different. Even though it is 100% polyester, it feels more like your typical style of t-shirt. So keep that in mind. All right, so Danielle, thank you for putting the dimensions down there. So 14 by 20 inch sheets, that's the sublimation that you get. And Jennifer says, can you also use a tie-dye pattern vinyl for all cotton shirts to replace the sub on poly? Absolutely. So if you're not working with 100% polyester, this pattern is available through our heat transfer vinyl. So keep that in mind too. So both heat transfer vinyl and sublimation. I didn't happen to have this heat transfer vinyl available, so that's why I subbed the sublimation in its place and made sure to use a sublimatable garment. But yeah, heat transfer vinyl, sublimation, whatever you want to do, those patterns are available in all of those different finishes. So be sure to check those out if you haven't already. What I love about the pattern generator, because there are so many, you can actually go in and favorite the ones that you would use, and we will keep a my favorites folder for you for the patterns that you can see yourself using. That way you don't have to go and research for them. Another really cool thing is that you get to choose the colors that go into the pattern. So if maybe we have a colorway that you're not a huge fan of, maybe you want to use a local school's colors in the pattern because that's who you're marketing to, you can choose those colors in the pattern because they're just stock designs, and we're just giving you a color chart to choose from, and you get to just use whatever colors you want in those patterns. We're also, if you are working with Easy View Designer through Transfer Express, we are integrating the patterns there as well, which is really fun so that you can get it in a screen print finish, or what I would prefer to use it in is the Ultra Color Soft, so that you're not paying per color in your pattern. So keep an eye out for that if you are ordering screen print transfers from Transfer Express, because the Easy View Designer has these customizable patterns in there now. All right, so Patrice says, I love your customizable patterns. Patrice, you're the best. I swear, you've tried like all of our products and you love them all. So that's great. But yeah, here's the link. This is where you can go and see all the patterns. And yeah, so this is why we started doing the sublimation with the patterns and offering custom cut or custom printed sublimation transfers, because you don't have to worry about adding the equipment. All you have to worry about is having a heat press, and then you can heat apply. All right, so I'm just revisiting the comments just to make sure that I am answering all the questions. So Ian, his question is, should you add something inside the apparel? There's a possibility that you should. I haven't heard that you should, because I haven't experienced it like transferring through it all. So this is the inside of the garment here on the back side, and it didn't transfer through. Now, if maybe you were working with a really thin product and you were worried about that happening, then maybe thread in a cover sheet. Or if you're working with a threadable heat press, you can do that. Now, if I ever am heat printing a sublimation transfer and I'm afraid it's going to go over the edges of the product that I'm heat applying, all I'll do is just place down a craft paper. So what I could have done, and I'll just walk you through the process. This would be really easy to do. So just like grab your craft paper, place it on your platen, and then if you don't want to worry about having to insert the cover sheet into the shirt, you can just take the front of the shirt and thread it on this way, so you're just working with the top. So that's how I would do it, just to be most efficient if I was concerned about that migrating through to the back of my shirt. So now the back of my shirt is hanging down here. I have craft paper there to make sure it doesn't sublimate through my to my platen there. And so that would be the easiest way to do that, so that you're not having to worry about inserting the craft paper into the shirt every time. So just thinking of more effective ways to do that if you were working with a shirt that could migrate through to. All right, so another key thing you want to keep in mind with this is, if you are going to pair a heat transfer vinyl with sublimation, just make sure it's not something that is going to migrate or change color from the sublimation. I knew that the Nightfall heat transfer glitter product wouldn't, because it's dark enough, but there are also special effects heat transfer vinyls that that's the nature of them. They'll just block that from migrating through and changing the color or their finish. All right, let's see. All right, so Cassandra says that she typically uses a paper cover sheet. Yeah, so I would say, just to be safe, just use it, and that way you don't have to worry about it. Jennifer says, love Transfer Express, 19 years strong. You'll have to let me know what you think about the patterns in there and some of the designs that you're creating with them. And Denise asked, what was the name and style of the polyester shirt again? So S&S Activewear is where this was sourced from. and it is Sublivy or Sublivy. This is how it's spelled. Could possibly share a link in the comments if we haven't already. But yeah, they offer all white shirts that are sublimatable. This is the V-neck style, but they also have the typical crew neck. And then I wonder if I have the shirts laying around nearby. I don't, but they do offer a two-tone one, which is really cool, where the backside is all black and just the front is white. So if you wanted to do the whole sublimation print all on the front, kind of like the cut and sew process, they do offer that so that you can just do like a full front print that's full color or like a pattern or something like that. All right, well, thank you guys so much for joining me. Josh is going to be live with you guys on Monday. And before you head out, I just always love to ask this broadcast, whether you're joining from YouTube or Facebook, and of course, share, comment, and subscribe. All right, so thank you guys once again. I hope to see you next week at the NBM virtual event. So don't forget about that. That one's still going on. But Josh will be back with you guys on Monday and next Thursday. I'll see you next time. Thanks again.